I just pressed the go live button, and it didn't prompt me with creating an anything.
Huh. Oh.
Am I live?
I don't know. Maybe
Yep.
I have to log out. Are you live?
We are. Yep.
Okay, great.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome.
I miss. Hi. How's it going? Sorry, I was just going to say I'm going to switch accounts
Yep.
on YouTube.
This
Hi,
is
y'all.
actually, as you can see, this is our very first show. This is also the first time that we are streaming onto this channel. So thank you to YouTube for hosting, as we do. And yeah, we are looking forward to it.
I'm so excited. Oh, look at us, our little stupid little
Oh, check
faces.
it out.
Little
Yeah.
stupid faces. I'm very excited.
I know, right?
I'm
Yeah,
very
I'm excited as well. I'm going to go ahead and pop out the chat because a big portion of what we want to do here on this show is community engagement. Now, we know this is our first time around, and as a result, a lot of people probably don't know we're here yet, and that's okay.
Yep.
But feel free to
Doesn't
connect
matter.
with us.
We're going to
please.
stream like we got 1,000 people.
Of course. But please catch us over on the Twitters as well as on Discord so that we can see your thoughts, your opinions, your feedback, as well as your questions that you want us to cover for future episodes of this show, which is Hot Soup. So, yes, this is a brand new Magic the Gathering talk show where Brouhaha and myself, Handbox42, it helped if I point in the correct direction, talk about various and sundry Commander fun stuff, because both of us are avid Commander players,
Yup.
and we have thoughts.
And
We're
feeling.
And feelings. Yeah, we also both stream Magic on our own respective channels, so feel free to check us out there. We'd appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
I know, right? Playing primarily Arena and Talking Smart, because, you know, it's what you do.
Sorry, I'm learning how to use YouTube right now.
It's all good. No,
There you go.
most of us, we generally stream on the other app, so it takes a minute to get
This is
into
my first time streaming on YouTube. My bad.
You are perfectly fine. It is all good. But yeah, so thank you for bearing with us, everybody. All right. But yes, so this show is fun. Bruja and I have actually been, we've been friends for a long time, but this is our first time actually, like, collaborating outside of a D&D one-shot, which was awesome, to be fair.
Oh, it's so funny.
Yes.
We did a Barbie themed D&D session on my stream. It was a quick one shot. We didn't use the Barbie name or anything because Mattel might sue. So
Yeah,
it
the
was
whole copyright thing.
Bardot's Grand Adventure, and Ken's were Chads in this world, and Hamhawks here played Astronaut Chad.
Yes, I played Astro Chad. It was kind of ridiculous.
It was very cute.
It was based
Space
it was
Toaster.
it was based on an actual like 1980s Ken doll. That was
Yep.
actually an astronaut. That is a thing.
Yep.
But anyway, because I did
yeah.
research for my silly D&D
Of
one
course
shot.
you
This is
did.
what you do. Yeah.
Look,
Anyway.
I wanted different kinds of personalities in that game that were going to approach it completely differently, and I knew you were going to kind of be a fucking geek about it. And
100%, of course.
I
You know
love
me.
that.
I
love
can't
that
imagine
about
what
you.
gave you that idea.
I don't be everything about you. I don't know.
I know, right? Yeah. It's not that I'm bringing the geek mentality to just about everything I do. I can't imagine.
And I appreciate that you bring such a prepared mindset to those kinds of things, and I go into it like, what are we doing? Where's the hook?
And I love that you mentioned that because as you can see, this show has already kind of started. We don't have a super strict outline just yet. We have a couple of ideas that we do want to talk about. And honestly, what happened over on my end about 3 minutes ago, I pressed the little go live button in OBS. Well, every other time I've ever pressed go live in OBS, I've gotten a separate pop-up saying, oh, what would you like your stream title and your tags to be? And this time it was just like, all right, you're live. Like, whoa, what? And so here we are.
Can we-
Because this is the fourth different channel I've actually streamed to, I believe. Anyway, but
Nice.
they're all different. Every one of them is different. Anyway.
We should talk about Hot Soup itself and how we became, how this name came, because it's so stupid.
The name is Beautifully Stupid. So if you are not from Beautifully Stupid, that kind of sums up a lot of what I do. All
See,
right.
we're cooking up jank on this show. Cooking up a lot of jank. And because of that, we're going to talk about a lot of cards that may not be good cards, but we love just the same, where we can utilize in a way that creates a silly situation. Can't wait till we talk about Horseshoe Crab. Let's be real.
Crab
But
Rev.
Hot Soup for me is one of those cards. It's honestly my favorite Magic card. I don't know why. I first discovered it when I was putting together my Gaio Master Chef deck. And I was just looking for food cards. It didn't matter what they were. If I could afford them, I would. And I spent like $20 on TCG Player of all these shit cards.
Sure. Yeah.
And I came up with an incredibly fun deck, and now I ended up putting it in like my God Eternal Bond 2, and I'm trying to put it in everything. It doesn't fit, but I try to put it in everything. Oh, my Michonne deck, everything. But yeah, Ham and I were trying to come up with names.
Yeah, we were on a Discord call trying to come up with various names, or like, you know, and all of the like anything we come up with was either taken or genuinely just kind of stupid, you know, and we were just kind of throwing out what would stick. Nothing, just nothing. And then finally, Brouhaha was just like, I don't know, hot soup. And it was like, dang it, I think we have a winner.
Like, I swear, every single thing that I've come up with in content creation that has worked out or at least moved forward has started as a joke.
But honestly, the off-the-cuff jokes are some of the best stuff. Trust
My
your gut.
name started as a joke.
I mean, there you go.
I've nothing. When I was in Vegas, Chukimon, aka keeping it casual, who's a fucking sweetheart, I might add. Shout out to Chuki. We were playing a game, and he asked me about my process, and he wanted to know if I could like talk to him about it. And my first thought was, "What the fuck is my process?"
You have a process? You guys are getting paid?
And I realized at that moment, I don't have a process. I have fucking chaos, and it occasionally works out.
Hey, you know what? If you're just in tune with the chaos, you find the good bits. Yep.
Like, and that's how the Salt Factory was created, which is, you know, a series where it's an EDH series, and we all play the same commander, but we build our own decks for it. And we see what happens. Like, tomorrow is going to be my Tasha the Witch Queen. And then, you know, next week is Hirobi. Fucking.
Oh, have fun. Good luck.
And then Yawgmoth. Like, I have absolutely no commanders that I've ever wanted to play against listed for this series because it started with me saying, could you imagine an Altergrid pod?
What is a nightmare idea?
Which really is on my YouTube if you are interested to see how that happened. It was the most technical, involved game of Magic I have ever played, and I honestly loved it. I feel like it was such a learning experience for all of us because we had to pay attention to the rulings, so we kept like, it was great.
What's the priority order? Active, non-active player, who's resolves first, all that jazz. Oh yeah,
and
totally.
it was fucking Defiant Cather, Queen Goddess of Blunder, and my friend from my LGS who has played pro before, Withers. Like,
nice.
All war criminals.
Totally. Yeah.
And Goddess of Blunder destroyed us because it came down to what we thought was going to happen. Whoever was able to get Tergrid out and keep it out first won. And that was it. So just because the way everything resolved.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I'm sure everybody's decks. One of the doing salty commanders where everybody has to do the same thing is like kind of brilliant just because everybody packs their decks with synergy. And they synergize with their own commander, and as a result, they're also synergizing with everybody else's. So, yeah, that's very interesting.
Like, it can be very strange. So, as this series has continued, I've kind of allowed myself to break away from what, like, the average deck would be based on EDH Rec, because shout out to my boys at EDH Rec, because my God, are they fucking helpful.
They're lovely. Yep.
And I've tried to move away from it and incorporate a lot more jank or different win cons. So, like, most recently, Edgar Markov. I could have been brutal with vampires, and people were. Classic Edgar Markov. But I didn't. I built pure life drain. And, like, Edgar Markov was there for the colors and the incidental addition of 1/1s. It wasn't even, like, meant for the brutality of a creature deck, although there's a fuck ton of creatures in there. It was meant for the brutality of being able to do nothing and drain all of my fucking opponents. Just, I'm not even swinging.
I love it. Love it. Yeah, I'm a big fan of going with alternate win cons and trying to find new angles on classic commanders. I think that is really interesting and a ton of fun. Like, actually, one deck that I recently built that has gotten actually a lot of press. I played it on a couple of streams. Is actually a Yarok the Desecrated deck.
Okay.
And it'd be very easy to look at this and just go, oh, it's this thing. Like, yeah, it's just full of ETBs and it's just Ravenous Chupacabras all day.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, there's some of that in there. However, the deck is built around battles. And it has all 16 battles that are legal.
This dumbass deck.
Yeah, it has all 16 battles that are legal in Sultai. And the reason that I have that is all the battles have an ETB on their front face. And so what I was trying to do was I wanted to build a deck around battles, and I was trying to think, what can I do?
That's really smart.
Thank you. Yeah. What can I do that can result in an interesting setup and an interesting scenario that uses this new card type? So I need access to a lot of colors, and I would like to find a commander that can somehow synergize. Because like everything, I could throw, Kenrith at the helm and do 5-color or whatever. And like, that's an option. And I'm not writing that off, that's fine. But I thought it would be more fun if my commander synergized with the ETB of all the battles. And then on top of that, a lot of the battles care about like having transformed permanents on the battlefield and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It gets weird and it's really cool. And what I discovered with this particular deck is if the value gets started, if I can get one of the battles flipped into the creature that can help me flip the other battles, then it's really good. And I found that's what ends up happening with so many of my jank brews, and I bet yours as well. Once they start doing the thing, they can be great. But getting to started and getting to do the thing is the hard part. Yep.
I don't have a great win rate, but my God, when it wins,
oh, it's the best. Yeah.
oh my God, it's unstoppable. One of my favorite janky decks that I've ever built is a Muldrotha deck, a brawl deck for Arena, but I call it X-Ooze Me. And it's just all of the ooze cards that I could put. And
I love that.
It doesn't always work, but it is so stupid. It's the silliest thing I've ever built. Like,
I love this. All right.
It's unnecessary. And because of it, I'm now building a Myoplasm deck on paper, and it's going to be extremely thematic. Like, we're not leaning into wins, we're leaning into theme, just like I did with my Gaio Master Chef. Now, of course, there will be heat up in this bitch, because I'm not crazy. That's not the point. But, I want it to be a little spicy.
Mimeoplasm has an opportunity to get gross. You can do some dumb stuff. One of the things I absolutely adore is when you're going up against Mimeoplasm. Shout out to my buddy Skirt Russell. He's done this to me a couple of times where he has a Mimeoplasm deck. And so many games start with Island or like Shock in a Watery Grave. No, sorry, not Island. Swamp. Swamp or like Shock in a Watery Grave or something. Tap. Then, what is it? Death Shadow. And it enters the battlefield as a 0/0 or way lower than that. It's a negative, well into the negatives, and dies immediately.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you first look at that play, you're just like, why the hell would you do that? And then you read the Mimeoplasm. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile up to 2 creature cards from your graveyards. If you do, it enters as a copy of one of those with +1/+1 counters equal to the number of the other, or equal to the power of the other card.
Yep.
Well, in the graveyard, Death Shadow is a 13/13.
Yep.
Yeah, gross.
Yep. Yep. Like, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
When I play a creature theme heavy deck, and there is blue on every sideboard of every creature deck I have ever built with blue, is a Masquerade Nexus and a Rooftop Storm. I can't stop doing it.
Why would you not?
I can't.
Why wouldn't you? So yeah, Rooftop Storm, 6-drop enchantment with one very simple sentence of rules text. You may pay 0 rather than pay the mana cost for zombie creature spells you cast. 0. And so this is Omniscience, but only for zombies. And so of course when you have Masquerade Nexus in the mix, then all of a sudden, it's just all your creatures are free.
Yep, and then there's that other Necro, the blue zombie doubling enchantment that came out, I think, with Innistrad. What the hell is it called?
Necroduality.
Necroduality. Thank you. That, if there's room, that goes in there.
Yep.
Reflections of Lajara will go in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to stop.
Yeah.
I had to stop myself from throwing that into my Nira Dragons deck.
But why? Why stop?
I wanted other stuff in the 99 that I owned, and I didn't have. I don't have Necroduality. I mean, Lajara's in there.
Okay. But that one, you could just say Dragon. You don't need Masco Nexus for that. Yeah.
Rooftops on the sideboard.
Okay, good.
With Maskwood, but I don't have a copy of Maskwood, so I'm trying to resist. That one's supposed to be like mostly what I own.
Wait, you don't?
With a little bit of spice.
Uh-oh. Okay. Here's a conundrum for any other Magic fans out there. You're not alone. I'm realizing that I'm pretty confident I have at least one copy of Masco Nexus lying around, and I just found out my friend does not have one, so they immediately want to send you one. But I was like, nope, calm down. I mean, maybe, but anyway, we'll see.
No, I do. I'm like, I have one. I'm like, bitch, you actually need that. You play that color. Stop.
Yeah. No, I'm a big fan of honestly, Masco Nexus is one of those cards that you can put it in almost anything. It is the jank glue that
it is
ties so much together.
God,
oh my goodness.
Hilarious.
Yeah, it's
one
fantastic.
of the funniest cards on earth.
Yeah, if you're
And
not familiar.
it's not that expensive because
No.
in any other format, I feel like it makes no sense except like maybe an elf ball, and even that.
No, the thing about Elf Ball is all the elves
You
do
don't
it
need
themselves. You don't need to splash
don't need
anything.
it at all.
No.
Like,
There's one deck that I play outside of EDH where I do use Masco Nexus, and it is terrible. It is in Historic on Arena. It's jank, and it's leveraging a card called Deathbellow Warcry.
okay.
If you're not familiar with Deathbellow Warcry, boy howdy are you missing out. Not really. It is a sorcery for 5 red. Search your library for up to 4 Minotaur cards with different names.
This fucking
Put them
works.
onto the battlefield, then shuffle. So when it's just 4 of any card, then it's great. And so
Sorry.
you grab
I'm
a
switching
Terror.
to energy drinks. Nobody mind me. I am
You're fine.
summoning my
You're
own
fine.
Minotaurs.
Yeah, and so with Deathbellow Warcry, the way that I do it is so Masquerade Nexus makes all the creatures in my deck Minotaurs. I then find, you can go grab Terror of the Peaks, Calamity Bearer, I think Fanatic of Mogus, which is actually a Minotaur, and then like Sulfim. And so like you're just like quintupling your damage and
Sulfim!
yeah.
That's my boy.
Yeah, so anyway, you can do some dumb crap with this. And Deathbellow Warcry is one of those examples of it is a typal payoff in a type that sees almost no support in Minotaurs. And so Masquerade Nexus gets access to Minotaurs, kind of.
Minotaur support WotC when?
I know, right? We need more.
Speaking of Minotaurs, where's Angrath?
Where is Angrath? Yeah, actually, we haven't.
Justice for Angrath.
We haven't seen Angrath.
Home to his babies.
I know we haven't seen Angrath in a very long time. Additionally, there is another. There's a reprint that we need.
Of Angrath?
No.
Oh.
Well, I mean, yeah. That too. There's a Homelands card that desperately needs to be reprinted, in my opinion.
Didgeridoo, eh?
Didgeridoo.
Oh.
I know. I just love ripping Dig. It is an artifact for 1. Where you can pay 3. Yep.
Your spare parts club.
Yep. Or you can pay 3. You take a Minotaur from your hand, put it directly into play. Boom.
Yes.
Just drop it on the battlefield.
Give me it.
It's so good. It's so good.
Fucking delicious. Oh my god, I didn't even realize Miss Eldridge is here. Jesus Christ. Hi!
We got Miss Eldridge in the chat.
I had
Welcome.
dumbass full screen.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Oh my goodness. But yes, so yeah, didgeridoo. How about didgeridoo? No, let's didgeridoo. Let's do it some more. I'm a fan of this card. I honestly, now that I think about it, oh no, it's on the reserve list. That's why. Duck on it.
But why?
But why? You know, what collectors are worried about their didgeridoos losing value? I don't know.
There are some things on the reserve list that truly make no sense to me. Now, granted, I haven't been playing Magic for 30 years, you know.
I mean,
I don't know all 30,000 cards or all the mechanics because I got stuck on one and I made it my whole personality.
Well, I mean,
But there are so many cards that I'm like, but why? And Didgeridoo is one of them. There is no Minotaur support. And still, where is Maskwood going? Where is Maskwood going?
I don't know.
Where are we putting that? Name all the formats. All the formats have commanders.
Give us more Minotaurs. I think that's very important. Now, we're touching on the reserve list. And there's one thing there are a number of cards on the reserve list that are genuinely just some of the worst cards that have ever been printed. And I'm aware of this card, and so I need to make you all aware of it too. There's a card out there called Splintering Wind. This is one of those, it has only ever been printed in Alliances. I even believe it was a rare, and it's worth like 20 cents because it is just so terrible. It is an enchantment for 2 green, and it has the activated ability 2 green. Splintering Wind deals 1 damage to target creature, put a splinter token into play. Treat this token as a 1/1 green creature with flying and cumulative upkeep green. If this token leaves play, it deals 1 damage to you and each creature you control. So this is like the worst Bitter Blossom that has ever been printed. Because, yeah, you're creating tokens that have a cumulative upkeep, and when they die, they ping you and your board.
I mean, that would be the world's most hilarious Exquisite Blood trigger combo.
That would be pretty rad, actually, now that you mention it. All right. The flex. Flex.
I can't tell you how many times I've played that in Golgari, and people have been surprised. They're like, I never thought of life drain in Golgari. And it honestly baffles me. I'm like, how much life gain do you get from landfall?
Yep.
Dinah exists, and then there's at least, now there's 4 cards in Arena, specifically, that trigger Exquisite Blood. The fucking Marauding Blight Priest, Dinah, the Epicure of Blood, and now Sanguine Bond.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and yeah, when you talk about Golgari Life Drain, in Strixhaven, the Witherbloom College, that was their whole deal. Like there were so many cards in that color combination in Strixhaven that were all about gaining life or caring if you have gained life, and then like draining your opponent out. Like it was part of the deal.
Release.
I really enjoyed it.
I don't even think it was the best set, but I loved that release because of the flavor. It was just so fun. It was very cute. I also had just played through a personal D&D campaign where we went to college.
Yep.
And I played a fire sorcerer, and I had a great time.
Excellent.
It was wonderful. So having that come out like right after that campaign finished.
that rules.
It just felt really nice. But yeah, no, Life Drain Golgari became it's my kill switch in all my Golgari decks. If it's going too long, I'm just gonna look for it.
That works, honestly. And well, that actually is an interesting idea, because any black deck right now in Commander can absolutely very easily have a life drain sub theme, even if it's not necessarily the point. I know I have plenty of decks where I don't necessarily.
To me, it feels like when you're playing white, you incidentally gain life.
Exactly. Well, and in how many black decks? I mean, honestly, let's be honest. Is there a black deck that exists that isn't better if you put Sir Conrad in it? Like, honestly, and it's just incidental drain. As the course of the game occurs, your opponents just get damaged. That's it. Actually, this isn't even life loss or, there's no life gain involved, but you're just pinging them every single time stuff happens. Like, black has so many of those effects, Well, and it's funny. Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned the dichotomy between black and white is something that we've seen throughout Magic's history, where if you're doing the thing in white, you are gaining life. Yeah. And if you're doing the thing in black, your opponents are getting pinged. Yeah. And like, well, one of these can win you the game.
I'm not playing with my life, though. I'm playing with yours. You just don't know it yet.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it's so funny because you see, like, the damage or life loss version is almost always so much stronger because it puts the opponent on a clock. Preserving your own life and staying in a game is fine, but it doesn't help you win.
Yeah. Like, I want to use my Bolas Citadel. You need to be lower than I am when I do that. And I gotta say, my favorite win I've ever had was because our one friend in the pod was being cocky and everybody was like, you need to shut the fuck up, Butch. I'm absolutely fucking calling him out. Butch, fuck you. I love you, fuck you.
Come on, Butch, what the hell? Yeah.
I love him so much. I'm gonna punch him in the throat. And he was being annoying. So my friend next to me was like, "You want to take him out?" I'm like, "Let me take him out." So I had the Bolas out in my Sir Conrad deck.
Woof. All right.
And I just yeeted until I bombed the table with a meat hook for 30.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
30
That'll do
from the meat hook. So everybody
That'll do
took
it.
60. It was so good. It was so good.
Can we all appreciate just how busted Meat Hook Massacre is? Like, this card is...
I pulled it at pre-release, but like
Nice.
the last pre-release for fucking Eldraine. It was not Eldraine. Because it's a list card, so it came like in the little fucking bonus pack that you get for
What?
participating.
I didn't realize that was on the list. That's awesome.
Yeah, I opened. I had a meltdown.
I get it. I get it.
Breakdown.
There are so many. I gotta say, the list is a beautiful thing. The like Wizards reprinting these like bonus cards into like sets where they straight up don't belong. It is amazing. Like not too long ago, I don't remember what set it was. Last kind of set that I opened a lot of. I'm trying to remember. It was. Oh, it might have been. It wasn't Lord of the Rings. Anyway, it was not too long ago. It was not too long. It might have been Dominaria United or something. In one of the list packs, I opened a Zakama, and it was just like, what? Like he was.
Why?
Yeah, why is this? Like, I'm happy to see you, but what?
Can
Like,
you calm down?
yeah. Anyway, I was very excited. It was one of those where the moment I like flipped, it was, because you're looking through the normal pack, and the moment I opened it, I could tell I didn't have a token in it. Like, I saw the backside first, and I was like, okay, there's no token, there's a list card, cool. I was fully expecting like,
Not that.
I was expecting some common I didn't care about, and then I opened it up, and it's like, oh, there's a big fuck off elder dinosaur just chilling
It's a
here. Like,
comment you care about.
it's like, well, my new deck is I haven't built Zakama yet. I need to do that because yeah, this card is nuts. Now that said,
Fucking Sakama.
fucking Zakama, I know, right? So I'm curious. So we're both jank brewers. We definitely appreciate the idea of approaching we talked about building good commanders with a twist.
Yes.
Are there any like genuinely bad commanders or like commanders that maybe aren't inspiring that you have right now that are in decks that you thoroughly enjoy? Like, what's your worst commander, but it's a deck you love anyway?
That's a good question.
I
gotta think, because I have so many just like mid ones, but I gotta be honest. I think, worst commander. Damn, who is it? I can't. Raphael comes to mind.
Ooh, okay.
I think Raphael, because I legitimately love the deck. I haven't been able to play a lot because it is pretty mid, and at the LGSs I go to, people are fucking insane. Like, there's a mana crypt in every deck. No one's playing a slow game. But it's so heavy on demons, and because demons are so expensive, CMC wise, it's a little tough to go. It's Rakdos Angels essentially at that point when it comes to cost. So, and it's aristocrat, so it's all self-sack, like, so it takes a minute to get going, but once it gets going, it's the silliest shit I've ever seen in my life, and it does need a bit of an update. But I really, really love this commander. Like, he's not super strong, but when he gets rolling, he gets a rolling.
I appreciate this. That actually sounds like a darn good time.
It's very fun.
Very cool. There he is. I was having a tough time finding the card. I'm sorry about that, everybody. But yes, Fiendish Savior, this guy. Yeah, I like the idea of decks that have that crazy top end. Honestly, that's the other thing I found. For like the vast majority of my decks, I run very few early threats. I sandbag super hard. And honestly, at first I did it just because I didn't want to spend a bunch of money on like a fast mana base. But now I do it because I've learned the joys of being the one at the table everyone is underestimating.
Yes.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Like
And
the amount of times I just like don't have a great early game and I end up hanging back and people don't want to punch me in the face because of it. And then all of a sudden they're like, we should have fucking killed you. I'm like, yeah, you should have.
sure should have. Yeah. It's funny because you can tell whenever I'm in a pod with people who have played against me, they will attack me with that early chip damage like over and over again, and I don't get mad because like, no, they're right. I'm not okay. Yeah. Like no, you're
Like
you're right.
once
You're right.
people see my Conrad pop off, they will
Yep.
never allow my commander to stay on that board ever goddamn again. And I
Yep.
think that nothing is a bigger compliment to me than letting me play through a game, seeing what the deck does, and then refusing the deck to do what let the deck do what it does.
Oh, being the threat and having everybody take you down, it feels great. It does. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I played a turn 4 Nether Void. How do you get me out? It has to be combat damage. Good luck, only one of you has a creature.
Yeah. Nether Void is a whole other example of a card that is just on another level.
Yeah,
So,
I don't
folks,
play that low level because I don't feel like there's a reason to brick a board when you're playing pre-con level pace.
Right.
Like it's just weird pacing to me. But like in my Sir Conrad that is not meant to have a slow game. It's meant to punch forward hard and quick. This is hilarious.
That's amazing. Yeah, so yeah, with Nether Void, it's a world enchantment, which is a type that they just don't do anymore. For 4, 3 and a black. Whenever a player plays a spell, this includes you, by the way, counter it unless its controller pays 3. So every single thing has a mana leak hitting it. It just does. And so yeah, the moment you drop this, it's like, all right, have you already ramped like crazy to the point where you can pay an incredibly dumb tax? Or can you kill me with what's on the board? If the answer to those things is no,
And then, of
ooh.
course, like, you personally will then try to run things that reduce shit down to 0. So all of your spells cost 3.
It's so nasty. This is so nasty. Oh,
Hi, Christine. What up, girly pop?
hello. Welcome.
Yeah, no, I love this card. I have it in my Sir Conrad. I've played it in my Tiny Bones deck.
Nasty.
Just think about that for 2 seconds. I get Tiny Bones on the board, and he has an activated ability for 6. I have all passive discard cards, and then I drop another Void, so you can't do shit about it. And then I bop his fucking 6 and bomb the table for 10. And chances are I have an Exquisite Blood and a whole bunch of other shit. Lately, I
silly.
started, oh my god, the Edgar Markov deck, I added Tainted Remedy and fucking Wedding Ring.
But why? Why would you do that?
I call it Get a Divorce.
I mean, toxic relationships. We've all been there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Bobby, Nether Void. It's the fact that people gave me shit about like artifact bricking, and like me saying artifact bricking was weird, and then they don't realize I turn around and play fucking cards like this.
Oh my goodness, this is absolutely savage. Yeah.
Miss Eldridge, you helped inspire the Wedding Ring situation because I had an Adeline Resplendent Cather deck that Miss Eldridge was part of with Queen of Cardboard, my girl Beth.
Excellent.
And they kept marrying each other. It was very funny. And then
Like you
flirting
do.
the whole time.
Well, sure. Yeah.
And then Beth kept like making JM from Trying Casually blush every time. So of course I have extreme close-ups of him looking like a tomato.
Nice.
That's
I'm
also
curious,
up on
has
my
Wedding Ring ever hit the field and not resulted in like the most like long-lasting awkward jokes ever? Because like it's always yeah.
There's the and they were roommates card, the two gentlemen, commander that I can't remember the fucking name of.
Halana
and then
and Elena?
and no, the dudes.
No, because they're ladies. Yeah. The Kings,
Dude?
Kyranos and yeah.
Yeah.
I know the one you're talking about. I can never get their name right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, those guys, Halana
Yes, the
and
big gay
Elena,
kings, yes, love
and
those
the
guys.
Wedding Ring
Yeah.
are the 3 gayest cards in Magic, and no one can change my mind. And I am excluding Secret Layers because there was a Pride Secret Layer that I
Yeah, and-
have.
I mean,
We're not counting Secret Layers. These are the gayest cards
sure.
ever fucking printed, and you cannot
mean-
change my mind on it.
because yeah.
Getting gay married and making it the table's problem.
Anyway.
Now that
I love it.
That-
Don't get me wrong.
yeah.
This is beautiful.
Bearscape I love
Bearscape
it.
is
I love it.
10 out of 10.
I've
No
been
question, no
looking-
issue.
I've been looking for a deck to put it in, honestly, just because I love
It's so
it.
sweet. Like it's just like yeah, it's just these bunch of dudes just vibing. Just like I love it.
They're
Let's
so
just
cute.
mhm.
This is so
just
happy.
living their best life. It's so cool.
It's,
Yeah.
it's just bare joy.
I know.
Yes.
Kanae Satiro, that's the one. Yes, thank you. Yep.
Thank you. And they were just roommates, situation.
Yeah, Kaneos and Tiro. It's funny. I actually had a friend of mine a number of years ago who had a deck. It was a group hug like pillow fort deck built around. Kaneos and Tiro, and so I've seen this card a bunch, and it was in play. I've played against it a number of times, and like I just thought they were just brothers in arms until I looked closer at the art and realized like, oh, that's a very
he's like-
affectionate touch there. Like
He'd be running those hands. He'd be
oh, never
running
mind.
them.
They're yeah. Okay, got it. Good work, guys. Get after it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, fun stuff. Very cool.
Very gay cards. They make me
Very,
so
very gay
fucking
cards.
happy.
And you're right. And Wedding Ring. I don't know that. Yeah, I mean that card has probably caused more dudes to ask other dudes, like propose to other dudes, than just about anything out
Yep.
there, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it. I love it so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like and those gentlemen are gay because of the art. And the lore. Lana and Elena
yeah,
are gay
but-
because of the art and the lore. But this card this is the gayest card in Magic.
I mean, as far as the actions at the table are concerned, I'm not arguing this. I'm not.
It's just the gayest card in Magic. I love it. I love it.
Yo,
Just
bro.
like-
Bro,
just
would
like
you marry
at-
me, bro?
At Taco Bell, the "Will you marry me" hot sauce packet is the gayest thing at Taco Bell.
I don't know. You know what? There's nothing wrong. Hey,
Fuck
to everybody,
it.
to all of our viewers who are openly sauce sexual, it's okay. This is a safe place. We appreciate you. Yes. All right. Oh man, I would say we're off the rails, but I don't know that we were ever on them. So I think that's part of the joy.
What's a
all
hidden
right?
rail?
What are rails? We're not here for rails. Where we're going, we don't need rails. All right. Thank you. All right.
We'll create our own rails with blackjack and hookers.
In fact, forget the rails. Yeah. But so
don't
anyway,
know.
so that question that I asked about bad commanders, I asked it because I was totally seeding because I have an answer. I was seeding the
Sorry.
question. No, you're fine. So for some reason, I didn't do this intentionally, but when I look through the dozen commander decks I have, at least 3 of them are all companions for my Ikoria. There is something about
Okay.
that cycle, and they're not they're in the command zone. They're not they're not companions. I'm not matching the companion restriction or any of that jazz.
Yeah, I
It's
built
just-
a Kira deck like that.
Exactly. Yeah. No, and I've got Garuda. I've got yes, I'm that guy with all the clones in Garuda. I'm sorry. I had a Thassa's Oracle. What was I supposed to do? Anyway, I opened it.
You
I
had no
didn't go.
choice. You had no choice.
My hands were tied. But anyway, so yes, I'd actually call that deck. If you look at my Mox field, it is Garuda the Annoying Triggers. That is what because I know how this deck works. Like I don't play it very often. Miss Eldridge, thank you. But
I'm
one
so
of my
happy
favorite
right now.
that rules. One of my favorite decks that I have. It is not good. It does not win a lot of games, but it makes an impression every single time. Is Gigantha the Wellspring.
Okay.
And you may be wondering, how the
Okay.
hell do you build Gigantha in a way that's interesting? Because this card, Gigantha is known not as a commander card per se. It's just, this is one of the easiest companions to make happen. And so you see it a lot in formats like Explorer or Pioneer, I think even Modern, where the deck just matches the criteria anyway, so you might as well have it in the companion slot. Like, give up a sideboard spot and you might just have a 5-drop, like 5/5 if you need it. But I built Gigantha because it gives me access to all 5 colors and it allows me to run one of my favorite cards, Door to Nothingness.
Oh God, you would.
So it's a secret Door to Nothingness deck where the goal is to actually win the game off of Door to Nothingness. So I have things like Sculpting Steel. I have there's a card, I think, Scheming Fence, that can become it can strip the abilities of something and become a copy of it. And a lot of ways to recur the Door to Nothingness out of my graveyard. And so as a result, the goal is literally stick the door, You know, let the turn cycle go around, untab it, like let the game continue with a fully loaded, like locked and loaded door ready to go. Hope somebody doesn't have a Croson grip, and then the moment somebody does something you don't like, just yeet them out of the game. That's the idea. It is a phenomenal dick move, and it makes me so happy every time.
Also the funniest shit I've ever heard.
Because people talk about the dynamics of a table, right? And the politics of a table. Like, just take, like, there isn't a bigger loaded gun in a game of Commander than a door to nothingness with all your mana open.
Oh, yeah.
It's just sitting there. And because you can activate it at instant speed. If they did this nowadays, it would say, like, you know, it must be
only on your turn or as a
only
sorcery.
on your turn or only as a sorcery. Exactly. Nowadays they would do that, but they didn't back in Mirrodin when they first printed this, or Fifth Dawn or whatever it was. One of the OG Mirrodin ones. And yeah, and so it's just pay 10. Target player loses the game. It's just that simple. And the reason that I use Gigantha as the commander over all the other 5-color commanders is Gigantha gives 5 of the 10 mana I need in order to activate it. And so you can play out Gigantha first, then follow it up with the door.
You need that and whatever the Lotus is that gives one of each color.
Timeless Lotus. I think I have one in there. I know
I have. That's it. That's all you need. 2 cards.
It's actually really funny because that deck has that deck specifically has a lot of my most expensive. Like it's a dumb deck full of a bunch of very dumb cards, but it has some of my more expensive like mana fixing. Like I have a Chromatic Ori, and it's in that deck.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, like, do I need the Chromatic Ori per se? Like, well, there are other decks I could use it in, but at the end of the day, in this one, it's just great. Yeah, Chromatic Ori, if you're not familiar, it's a legendary artifact for 7. You may spend mana as though it were mana of any color, and you can tap it to add 5, and it enters untapped. And so
it's like not okay.
It's really not. It's so dumb. Because like I have access to 7 mana right now. Cool. I'm gonna play this and then I'm gonna tap this for 5 mana that is effectively of any color because of the fixing ability that it has on it. And then I'm just gonna play out other stuff to the point where this actually only costs me 2 if I can use all 5. It's so dumb.
Trash.
Yeah.
Trash.
Yep.
Trash. Garbage. Garbage crash. I hate it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, it's like, that's so good. Well, and as a result, I think it's going for like $20 or $30 or something stupid like that.
It's that and like that. What is that Sisay deck that does another? No, she's on the card. I forget what it's called. Fuck. There's a card where she's in the art, and it is another like 5-color bullshit shenanigan thing.
Oh, I think the one that's banned.
Probably banned. Seems like it should be banned.
Coalition Victory? It's way banned in Commander.
Yeah. It's not banned. What format? I pulled it.
You pulled Coalition Victory?
Yeah.
So yeah, Coalition Victory, if you pay Wooburg and 3, so a total of 8, you win the game if you control a land of each basic land type and a creature of each color. Not hard to do, per se.
No.
And as a result, it is banned in Commander because it just abruptly ends the game and it's not particularly fun. And so they're just like, can we not deal with this?
Yeah, that warped it would have warped oh my god. What are words?
I'm not sure.
They saw it as warping parts of the format that were not good for the format.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see why.
Yeah. Well, because there are so many, now that we have the triomes, like we've seen how easy, and anybody who's played Standard since Dominaria United has come out knows that like you can get Domain on 2 lands, no problem. And then there are also cards like the Dryad of Elysian Groves. And let me pull that up real quick. Sorry for the typing sounds.
This dude.
Yeah, Dryad of Elysian Groves is awesome. I gotta say, phenomenal card. Also showing off some epic nip action right in the art, and so respect there. 2/4 for 3. You may play an additional land on each of your turns, and lands you control are every basic land type, in addition to their other types. And so not only does it provide perfect fixing Chromatic Lantern style, but it also gives you complete domain and like just the Coalition Victory, just like on spot, basically.
More unnecessary things.
Yep. And so as a result,
hilarious and jank.
Yes. No, tons of fun. This is the kind of thing, Dryad of Elysian Groves can hold together a janky 5-color deck and really help it get to the next level and get it playable in a way that is otherwise very difficult. And that's actually, I think, one of the biggest key challenges. For any other jank brewers out there, your biggest challenge is going to be your mana base. Every
Yeah.
time, it always will be. And that's just, and if you think for a second, oh, but I have all these fun cards, I have a
Doesn't
couple
matter.
of the game duels, I'll be fine. No, you're not going to be fine. You know, it
Whatever
doesn't
you think your
Yeah.
mana should be, add 25% more.
add significantly more. And if you ever think, oh, I can just cut a land and I'll add this, don't do it.
No,
Never
don't
do it.
Don't
do it. Don't you
Unless
dare do it.
And then, like, I have friends like Mr. Doggo Dude is a psychopath and will play with 30.
30?
I hate him and he beats me all the time.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you're playing with 30 lands, you better have at least 20, like ramp spells or ways to fetch lands, in my opinion. Because
Always bullshit.
that's silly. Yeah. Miss Eldridge, you're not wrong.
That was
They're
great.
saving.
I love you.
They're saving lives. Let's be real. Yeah. All right. But yeah, so that's why actually, you know what? Here we are. We're on episode 1 of a brand new talk show about Commander. I'm gonna do it. I see
What?
the landmine in front of me. I'm gonna defuse it by stepping on it. Let's freaking
God.
go.
Oh God.
Chromatic Lantern.
What about
Do you
it?
have thoughts? I have thoughts.
I fucking love this card.
I do too. Yes.
I use it 3 or more colors. It's going in.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
going in. Because I
100%.
get mana screwed all the time. I don't have the patience. Like, I'm not gonna. I wouldn't use it in standard. I wouldn't use it in a 60 card, just because for me personally,
Totally.
I really don't even use mana rocks in a 60 card with like few exceptions.
Yeah.
Usually like Staff of Completion because I'm obsessed with that card.
That card rules.
Oh, I love it so much. I
So
showed
good.
someone what it could do when I was playing my Gitrog deck, and they were like, "I'm buying one." I was like, "You're welcome."
Yes, you should. You're wise investment. No,
Yep,
I have a
but
Tom
I
Bombadil Pearl
love
deck.
this.
Best card in the whole thing.
There-
It's so good.
Yeah. Like you need Chromatic Lantern, in my opinion, for 5-color decks. 100% in Commander. 100%. That I would put in a 60-card deck if it was a 5-color 60-card deck.
I'm cool with that. Yeah.
Like-
the thing with Chromatic Lantern is it is a 3-mana rock. There is so much discourse and argument and disagreement over whether or not 3-mana rocks are viable. The fun thing about Commander, and
Drives me
I've
crazy.
heard to a lot of people, to a lot of the creators' credit, I do need to give credit where it's due. A lot of people will acknowledge the inarguable fact that in Commander, every card is playable. Like
Yeah.
you can play any card in a deck of Commander, and there is a chance it will work if you build it correctly, and if the rest of your play group is on a similar wavelength as far as power level and interaction level goes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
If y'all at the same speed on the same page, you have such a good chance of winning with an entire deck of flavor text. Like,
100%. Yeah.
no abilities.
Yeah, chair typal, women looking left tribal, you could totally do it. Sorry, typal, you could totally do it. It's a thing. Those are fine
Yeah.
in the right format. And the thing about Chromatic Lantern is if I'm doing a full-on competitive, like CEDH style deck where either I'm proxying the whole thing or I'm in some kind of hypothetical world where money's no object, I'm gonna run all of the fetch lands, all of the triomes, all of the shock lands, and I don't need a Chromatic Lantern. And when people say, "Oh, Chromatic Lantern's not that good," they're living in that world where where you have all the fetch lands, all the triomes, all the everythings.
Yeah.
And the reality is, you know, that's great if you have access to those cards. The vast majority of us do not.
Yeah.
And all of those cards will cost you thousands of dollars if you want to collect
and I'm
all
like,
of them.
We're not doing it. I'm not doing
Chromatic
it.
Lantern.
It's Commander.
Chromatic Lantern costs you, I don't know, $2 depending on where the market is, if not $1, and there you go. 1 3-drop, perfect mana for the rest of the game. Let's go.
Like, it comes in Commander Precon sometimes.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's like it's freely available all over the place. I love it. I think this card is great because it gives janky decks or lower powered decks a chance to have multiple colors and freedom. Exactly. It gives you the ability to actually cast your spells in a very simple way. And the cost on it of being a 3-mana rock is high enough that it's not too good for competitive environments.
Yeah.
Or
Like-
no, it's not good enough for competitive environments, but it's perfect for casual. Yeah, I love it.
When it comes to 3-drop mana rocks and the Discord around it, I gotta be honest, it kind of drives me crazy because, like, again, like you just said, everything is playable.
Yeah.
So if you find the right thing for it, it makes sense. And I really like a lot of very specific 3-drop mana rocks for
Mhm.
very specific functions.
Yes.
Heraldic Banner, Heraldic Banner, what the fuck is
Ooh.
it called? I love that in my monocolor decks. Like, and a lot of times my monocolor decks, it's usually black and there's usually sack, so I could usually get rid of it if I need to.
Yep.
It's not a big deal. But I
Yeah.
don't play it in my multicolor decks because I don't like the way it works with my multicolor decks. I feel like people's attitude towards 3-drop mana rocks is like, if it doesn't come out on tap, give me 4 mana and suck my dick under the table, it's not good.
That is generally how people feel about it, and I think that's silly. Yeah.
Calm down.
Yep, I think it's absolutely silly. I mean, we're in a world where, like, mana lith, where it's just 3 mana, rock, make any mana. Like, that's, yeah, not good enough. It doesn't have enough
get
extra
it.
stuff.
I
But
get it.
additionally, you don't need that anymore because there are a million options that give you something extra. So yeah, Heraldic Banner is a phenomenal example of that. If you're doing like a token-based strategy and most of the tokens in your deck are like green or white, just name this. Like I had a deck that I built that I actually gave to a friend of mine because I didn't want to run it anymore, and he did not have as many hang-ups about playing high-powered decks as I did. And it's Xyrus, the Ruling
Okay.
Storm. Yeah, all the snakes. Well, Heraldic Banner's in there, and it's one of the best rocks in the whole thing.
Yeah, I love it. Like, I have it in all my
Yeah.
zombie decks because
Oh,
there's
totally.
a million tokens.
You're just making all the
And,
zombies.
Yeah,
Yep.
like, I give them Menace and Death Touch at some point, so to give them a +1, +0, it just makes it a little bit more insulting. It's the lemon juice in the wound.
No, that's a great example. I really dig it. Well, and then there are other ones too. You know, like you have Replicating Ring, for example, is
I
another
enjoy
one.
that one.
I think this one's really solid. And the thing about Replicating Ring is if you're in a game that is going long enough, you have the opportunity to split the sucker out into a crap ton of other rings. Or if you're in if you're in a deck that is proliferating, you know, you get an opportunity to ramp it up, and you might
Yeah.
end up with a, you know, if you can speed run it, that's great. But even if you can't, it's
Yeah.
a snow artifact. So if you
Yeah.
have a deck that cares about snow permanents entering the
Nope.
battlefield, ding ding, this
I-
counts.
It's built, my Tasha Mill on Brawl has a crab that every time a snow permanent enters the battlefield, target player mills 3 cards. So this one in there, because this is a phenomenal rock for, thank you, I can never remember the name of a goddamn thing.
Iceberg Cancrix, yep.
This is a phenomenal rock to have in this deck specifically for the
Oh,
stupid
yeah.
little snow permanent pops that I was able to throw in there. Not even a lot, but there's enough tutors that I could go find it.
It's so
Like,
good.
it's not a big deal. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, I feel like, oh, sorry. I feel like
You're good.
the low drop mana rocks have more versatility when it comes to how many decks you can put it in. But the 3-drop mana rocks to me feel where like you can be really creative.
Absolutely.
Because they're not all good for everything, but the ones that work fucking work.
They work. Yes,
like,
absolutely.
What is the relic of what's its face for a legendary tap? You
Oh,
put
Relic
that-
of Legends, yeah.
Oh my god, you put that in a Joda the Unifier? Get the fuck out of here.
Honestly, in almost any commander deck, the thing
It's
about
good.
this, the thing about this card is it doesn't just give you like it's a 3-mana rock, but it also turns every one of your legendary creatures into a rock themselves, and not a dork. A rock. They can tap the turn they enter the battlefield
Yep.
because you're activating Relic's ability. It doesn't bestow an ability on the creature.
And after Lord of the Rings came out with how much legendary synergy there is,
Oh.
this is in some of these decks.
It's silly. It gets absolutely silly.
It's
Yeah.
so silly. I love it so much.
If your deck, well, and additionally too, like obviously if you're in a Joda the Unifier deck, if you're in any, you know, an Asera Rack deck or whatever, if you're in
That's
a deck
the
that,
Fade deck, you know,
Yeah,
like
if
any
you're-
of them that care
right.
about legendaries.
if you care about legendaries, you're obviously going to run something like this and you're going to get really good value out of it. But even if you aren't running legendaries specifically, I bet if you look at your commander decks right now, there are more legendary creatures in them than you think.
Yeah.
Because in recent memory, Wizards has leaned into creating legendary creatures. We just get more of them nowadays between commander products and even in standard sets. You know, we see plenty of perfectly good utility creatures that are just incidentally legendary now. Because, well, somebody might want to build it as a commander. So, yeah, I don't know, put legendary on it. It'll be fine. You know? And
Which I don't love.
I'm not super jazzed about it either, and it's funny too because you can tell there are certain cards that like are definitely designed with Commander in mind.
There's one
yeah.
card. I got the Dahada Precon, which I had to take some stuff out of it so that I could put it in other decks. But when that thing was together, like I kept saying at the table, I did not build this. You cannot blame me. That precon's disgusting. I highly recommend it. If you could get the Tejada precon, it's hilarious as shit. I'm gonna swap them out for Negan. But
All right.
there is a colorless legendary in there that you can just like tap it and destroy a legendary creature that is not a commander.
What?
And I
That's a
didn't
lot
love that.
That's a lot of creatures that is going to be able to hit. That's
Or like something like that. Maybe it's not as strong as that, but whatever it is, it's colorless legendary. You could destroy shit, but you cannot destroy a commander. And that, I don't love that.
It's awkward. Yeah.
Like, I want more versatility in a card because if I don't use it, I will never use it.
Right.
It's just gonna sit, and I feel like that's a waste of. It's a waste of a card because I feel bad because I have overly emotionally attached myself to all of my Magic cards.
Oh, I get that. I absolutely get that. No, it's funny. Okay, here's a silly anecdote because I'm nothing if not full of silly anecdotes.
True.
I have a number of cards that are in my bulk that I've had in my bulk for literally decades that are generally not good. And I've always told myself someday, somehow, I will find a way to make this work. And one example of that is a card called Crystal Spray.
Okay.
I own one of them. It is a rare from Invasion that is an instant for 2 and a blue. Some folks out there those of you playing at home, you may know where I'm going with this. So it's a 2 and a blue instant. Change the text of target spell or permanent by replacing all instances of a 1-color word or basic land type with another until end of turn, and then you draw a card. And so the idea is like, okay, your thing has protection from black. Okay, cool. I'm now gonna target it and give it protection from white or whatever. Like, and maybe that's relevant. Or like a different type of land walk. Like, okay,
Yeah.
fine. Well, this card is genuinely terrible. However, it currently sells for around $7 because of a little format that has come up out of nowhere, frankly, in the greater world of Magic. Dan, aka Forgetful Fish. That particular format, Crystal Spray, might as well read destroy target creature, draw a card at instant speed for 3. Because the only creature is the Dan, which has Island Home. If at any point you don't control an island, you have to sacrifice it. So I can target Dan, say mountain. You don't have any mountains because there are no mountains in the entire format. And then it dies. And so as a result, there's this one silly niche format, and I got to play Dan for the very first time in Vegas, actually, when in MagicCon Vegas. Shout out to Isaiah MTG for bringing a Dan deck and showing it off, and teaching me the ways of the Forgetful Fish, so that I could stomp him 3-1. But anyway, that's in any event. We have a situation where a bad card in Crystal Spray that has been worth about 5 cents for the entire time I've owned it is now all of a sudden an absolute bomb because a different format came up out of nowhere.
I love it when shit like that happens.
It's so good, right?
I have Karlach. The things that boost cards. I have fucking Karlach. I've had Karlach for years. She is sitting in my binder. She is not in perfect condition. She was like a fucking dollar for so long.
Yep.
And then y'all thirsty hoes started drooling because she's silly and smoked cigars.
I mean,
I would like to nominate Karlach as one of the gayest cards in Magic.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah,
Just
Karlach,
because of the thirst.
well, and I love it too because we saw the price on Karlach increase dramatically. I don't know that the other characters have bumped up the same way. I don't think they have. Like, I don't know anybody who's out there like thirst buying Gale. I'm sure they're out there. No shame to anybody for whom that's
I forgot
anything.
Gale existed, and the second I met Asterion, I'm like, bye Gale, dumped him.
Later, dude.
Dumped him. But somebody told me you can't let him die or you like lose and you have to start over. So
What?
allegedly, I'm feeding him useless magical items, even though I really want him to starve slowly.
Oh, you're still doing that stuff? Okay. Interesting. Anyway,
yeah.
Baldur's Gate 3 talk out of nowhere. Let's go. Great game, by the way. Highly recommend.
Can't stop.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny that you mentioned Karlach too, because like there's a certain level of like well, yeah, thirst and just general lust for Karlach out there. And it's funny because Karlach is in my party in Baldur's Gate 3. I'm in Act 2 right now. I like just recently started Act 2. And honestly, I just want to give her a big hug. She's just fun. Like, I love hanging out with her. Like, I want to have a drink with Karlach. And it's not
Like, she
necessarily,
seems like
there's
a
nothing
sweetie.
carnal about it. She's awesome. She's just fun. Anyway, and that's okay. That's okay. Anyway, big fan. She's an awesome character. But yeah. So, was there anything else that we wanted to make sure to touch on? I'm looking at it. We are approaching the hour mark. So I'm curious. Was there anything else that we wanted to touch on while we're here, or in chat? Do we have any questions or thoughts that you guys want to share? Because one of the things about the show that we do want to encourage on our Discord, on Twitter, or here while we're live, if the community has any questions or any topics that you guys want us to cover, please let us know. I think it gives us all an opportunity to talk about some of the hot things that are going on in the discourse, but also Commander is so deep and Magic has been around and making new cards for 30 years. There is so much, and there is no way that we are just going to randomly talk about your favorite commander or your favorite card or your favorite combo unless you tell us. Yeah. And we're happy to. So please do. Yeah.
So happy.
I know, right?
I think everybody left though.
Ha! That is okay.
Yeah, it's just us. Still, we'll tweet about it.
Absolutely.
Miss Eldridge clipped some stuff for us.
Delightful.
So
I appreciate that.
Fun.
We have some fun moments, I think. But yeah, all
in
all, this has been an awesome first episode.
I had fun.
I know, right? Me too.
Hope everybody else did.
Absolutely. Thank you all for being here. And it's funny, when we get together, why wouldn't it just be kind of some silly nonsense? That's what it's all about, right?
I enjoy our chemistry.
Agreed. Yeah.
It's very silly.
Silly with the nonsense. Yeah. Ah, perfect. Links in Discord. Missy, you're the best. Thank you.
I love Miss Eldridge.
Oh my goodness.
Shout out to Deanna, fucking bestie.
Absolutely.
Deanna was actually one of the first two people that welcomed me into the Magic community. The very first time I went to a con as a creator, it was DreamHack Dallas 2022, and I had interacted with her and Bobby Christine on Twitter. Excellent. And they were the first two people I met, and they were so kind to me and so sweet and made me feel so comfortable that made me want to keep going in this community.
Oh my goodness.
It was those two. So it's their damn fault if you don't like me.
Well, it's so funny you mentioned that too, because I know I've definitely had a couple of those folks as well throughout my time getting into this. But this year was actually the first year that I've actually been to a couple of cons, and it really opened my eyes. And I was really feeling it, especially in Vegas, where I realized I'm in a room of thousands upon thousands of people, and every single person I talked to, I liked. You know, it's I like all of these people. These are my people.
Really good
this is great.
Experiences with everybody. Yeah. It was beautiful.
And if you're watching this, especially if you made it to the end like this, you are part of that. Thank you for being part of the Magic the Gathering community that is so loving and welcoming. We appreciate you. Oh my goodness, so much.
Honestly, and this is not a joke, my autistic ass has been terrified to make friends for years, especially since I got sober. And this is the first time in years that I have actually truly connected with other human beings, and it's because of Magic. So seriously, thank y'all.
Oh my goodness.
So much for loving us.
It's the best. Oh my goodness. Absolutely.
I'm trying not to cry.
That's okay. No. Tears are welcome. It's all right. Anyway, but yes, thank you everybody. We do appreciate it. So yeah, I believe that does bring us to the end of our first episode of Hot Soup.
Yeah.
So we did it, everybody. Check it out.
So happy. Miss Eldridge said this is already her favorite talk show.
Oh my goodness, yes, we'll take it. Yeah. That's the only review we needed. All right.
5 stars,
Love
100%.
Yes, so we are planning as of right now to be doing these every other week. That may change in the future, obviously, as time and things allow. So definitely keep an eye out on that. If you are enjoying this, after the fact, we are going to be live streaming these moving forward. So please click that subscribe button. And while you're down there, leave a like and a comment. Those help a ton.
Yes.
So yeah. But yeah, moving forward, these are going to be Thursdays in the afternoon. Eastern time. Or yeah.
Yep.
And we'll
And if you give a follow to the socials, we're going to be asking for thoughts and feelings from followers talking about different jank we will be able to build, different jank and do deck techs on stream. But we want to know kind of what you guys are thinking and where you're coming from when it comes to what you're interested in hearing about. I mean, we'll obviously have our own topics. So I'm not asking you to write the show for us. I'm just saying. We're interested in what you have to say. That is all.
Absolutely. We are very interested in what any kind of community feedback, any topics you want us to cover.
Yep.
Please.
And we'll
It'd
be
be awesome.
streaming every second and fourth Thursday of the month.
Yep.
It'll
And
be fun.
also, I think ending things off with a quick question, everybody out there. Okay, we already know the ones that we mentioned, but in your opinion, what is the gayest Magic card? We want to
How
know.
did this become the topic?
We want to know. Leave it in the comments below. We really.
Let us know what you think is the gayest Magic card. 100%. 100%.
It's got to be Wedding Ring. That's got to and Bearscape is we already know. Anyway.
GG. GG.
All right, everybody. We'll catch you on the next one.